Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today, we're diving deep into one of the most mind-bending, thought-provoking ideas in history, Plato's Allegory of the Cave. Seriously, this isn't just an old story. It's a powerful metaphor that can totally change how you see the world, how you see your life, and even how you think about reality itself. So buckle up, because we're about to escape the shadows. Imagine this. Picture a group of people who have been chained up in a cave their entire lives. They're facing a wall, unable to turn their heads. Behind them, there's a fire, and between the fire and the prisoners, there's a walkway where other people are carrying objects, statues of animals, people, all sorts of things. The fire casts shadows of these objects onto the wall in front of the prisoners. Now, these prisoners have never seen anything else. To them, these shadows are all that's real. They name them, they talk about them, they even base their entire understanding of the world on these flickering images. This is their entire universe. Pretty bleak, right? Now, imagine one of these prisoners is suddenly freed. They're unchained, and they turn around. At first, the fire is blinding. Their eyes hurt, and they're confused. They've never seen a real object, only its shadow. They might even try to turn back to the shadows, because that's what's comfortable and familiar. But let's say this freed prisoner is compelled to move forward. They're dragged out of the cave, up a steep, rugged path, and into the sunlight. Oh, the sunlight. It's overwhelmingly bright, far more intense than the cave fire. Their eyes are probably watering. They might even be in pain. Initially, they can't see anything clearly. The sheer brightness is too much. They might only be able to look at shadows on the ground, then reflections in water, and slowly, painstakingly, they start to adjust. Eventually, they can look at real objects, the trees, the sky, and finally, they can gaze directly at the sun itself. And at that moment, they understand. They realize that the sun is the source of all light, the reason for everything they see, and that their entire life in the cave was just a distorted, shadowy illusion. Now here's where it gets really interesting. Imagine this enlightened prisoner, filled with this incredible new understanding, decides to go back into the cave. They want to share their discovery with their fellow prisoners. But think about it. Their eyes are now accustomed to the light of the sun. When they re-enter the darkness of the cave, they can barely see anything again. They stumble, they squint, they look utterly foolish to the others, who are still perfectly adapted to the dim shadows. When they try to explain what they've seen, the sun, the real world, the actual objects, the other prisoners would probably laugh at them. They'd say, "You've been up there and now your eyesight's ruined. There's nothing good about leaving the cave." They might even get angry, perhaps even violent, if the freed prisoner tried to unchain them or force them to see this truth that they perceive as madness. The cave dwellers believe the shadows are the ultimate reality, and anyone who claims otherwise is clearly mistaken, even dangerous. So, what does this ancient story, penned by Plato thousands of years ago, mean for us today? Plato uses this allegory to explore fundamental ideas about knowledge, reality, education, and the human condition. The cave represents our perceived reality, the world of appearances and senses that we experience every day. The chains symbolize anything that keeps us from seeing the truth: our biases, our unquestioned beliefs, societal norms, or even just our own comfort zones. The shadows on the wall? Those are the illusions, the opinions, the incomplete information we often take for granted as truth. Think about how much of what we believe comes from second-hand sources or snippets of information, rather than direct, critical investigation. We're often like those prisoners, reacting to shadows without questioning their source. The journey out of the cave and into the sunlight represents the path of enlightenment, philosophical inquiry, and true education. It's not easy. It's uncomfortable. It's painful to confront the blinding truth, to challenge deeply held convictions. But it's essential for genuine understanding. The sun itself, for Plato, symbolizes the ultimate form of good, pure reason and absolute truth, a truth that illuminates all other truths. And the freed prisoner who returns? That's the philosopher, the teacher, or anyone who has gained a deeper understanding and wants to share it. Their struggle to communicate this truth to those still in the dark highlights the difficulty of sharing new perspectives, especially when those perspectives challenge comfortable, established beliefs. People often prefer the comfort of familiar illusions to the unsettling light of truth. In our modern world, this allegory is more relevant than ever. Think about the echo chambers of social media, where we often only encounter information that confirms our existing beliefs. Are we looking at the full picture, or just the shadows cast by a particular algorithm? How do we distinguish between genuine information and misinformation, opinion and fact? Are we willing to step out of our own caves and challenge our preconceived notions? This allegory encourages us to constantly question, to seek deeper understanding, and to be brave enough to confront uncomfortable truths. It reminds us that what seems real and absolute might just be a shadow of a greater reality. True education isn't about memorizing facts. It's about breaking free from the chains of ignorance and turning towards the light of knowledge and critical thinking. It's about having the courage to step out of your comfort zone, even if it means momentarily being disoriented or misunderstood. It's about being open to new perspectives, even if they challenge everything you thought you knew, because only then can we truly begin to see the world and ourselves in a more profound and authentic way. So, I invite you all to ponder this. What are the caves in your life? What shadows might you be mistaking for reality? What would it take for you to break free from your chains and step towards the sun? Thank you so much for joining me on this philosophical journey today. If you found this discussion thought-provoking, please hit that like button, subscribe to the channel for more deep dives into fascinating ideas, and let me know in the comments below what your biggest takeaway from Plato, Allegory of the Cave. I'd love to hear your thoughts. See you next time.